NBA players sometimes aren't too friendly to one another. The NBA is extremely competitive, so most players obviously have something to prove or feel like it. Hence, more often than not, they get caught up in the heat of the moment. So, it's not crazy to see players that dislike each other go at it every time they have to play, building some of the most iconic rivalries in the history of the game. Every single person wants to not only put on their best performance each night, but they also want to win each and every one of their games. That drive has created more than a few pairs of players who seemingly hate each other over the years, and sometimes, even the fans get in on the action. Obviously, modern NBA isn't the exception to that rule, so today, we're going to talk about 10 players that completely hate each other. 10. Ray Allen and Rajon Rondo. Not all was well behind closed doors for the Doc Rivers-led Boston Celtics, which is ironic for a team whose motto is Ubuntu, a Bantu word meaning something akin to family, togetherness, and strength and unity. Rajon Rondo and Kevin Garnett have never forgiven Ray Allen for joining the Miami Heat and playing with LeBron James. But the discord between Allen and Rondo went back long before that. According to Kendrick Perkins, Allen tried to have Rondo traded off the team because of their disagreements. It got so bad that they tried to settle their differences with boxing gloves in front of the rest of the Celtics. The Celtics made Ray Allen and Rajon Rondo box for 2 rounds, Hoops Central May 22, 2020. Instead, the Celtics tried to trade Allen numerous times but failed to pull the trigger. Allen then beat them to the punch by moving to South Beach and joined LeBron James, the Celtics' biggest rival. Despite years of on-court success and much time having passed, the bitterness from Rondo and Garnett is still palpable. This is a feud they're taking to the grave. 9. Terrence Mann and Luka Doncic. The infamous NBA bubble was a hard time for a lot of the best players, and both Terrence Mann and Luka Doncic were no different. The men would often go at it and have had their fair share of heated moments between plays. At one point, the two men even posted up in each other's faces during a game. It looked like a clash could have broken out, but Mann wound up being ushered away by one of his teammates before things could get any worse. 8. Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverley. There has been a lot of controversy between Westbrook and Beverley over the years, something that has even led to some serious allegations. Beverley has gone as far as saying that Westbrook has actively hurt his career. The two men constantly get into it whenever they meet, and they have been more than vocal about each other over the years. Fans have managed to fan the flames all the more thanks to their undying love for Westbrook, something that often negatively impacts Beverley online and offline. 7. Hassan Whiteside and Rudy Gobert. These two men may not hate each other anymore since they became teammates, but they hated each other for quite a while. The two men clashed with passion on the court and were never afraid to voice their opinions on one another. Even after Whiteside joined the Jazz, people were still wondering if the two men would continue to hate each other. While no one can know for sure, the two men do seem friendly now, with Whiteside even saying that they play video games together. 6. Jimmy Butler and TJ Warren. Fans of Jimmy Butler will never forget his issues with TJ Warren purely thanks to the incredible gif that came out of their initial exchange. The two got into a heated scuffle that ultimately saw Warren getting ejected from the game. Rather than simply ignoring Warren, Jimmy Butler blew him a cheeky kiss in one of the funniest moments in NBA history. People probably couldn't have ever seen a moment like that coming, but it helped many people become even bigger fans of Butler. Both men then went on to share a few choice words for each other in interviews, solidifying their hatred. 5. Aaron Gordon and Kyle Lowry. Most Raptors fans will always hold a soft spot in their hearts for Kyle Lowry, one of the kindest men around. His kind nature only makes it stranger that he seems to have serious beef with a surprising name in Aaron Gordon. We may not know the initial spark of the feud, but a few years back, Lowry fouled Gordon, leading to a verbal scuffle. Lowry went as far as to tell Gordon his hotel room number if he wanted to pay him a visit later on. The two men would trade serious fouls in their next few meetings. 4. Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns. While some outlets have reported that Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns are actually good friends, their multiple scuffles on the court say otherwise. The pair have taken serious swings at each other over the years. People have said that the two men have officially squashed their beef, but when players were getting as physical as those two were on the court, it's entirely possible that putting on a good face for the public is exactly what happened. Only time will tell if the two men truly are on good terms or if they'll be swinging away at each other the next time they meet. 3. Michael Jordan and Kwame Brown. As anyone who watched The Last Dance can attest, Michael Jordan was an almost pathological competitor. MJ pushed players around him hard, sometimes treating them vindictively and sometimes outright bullying them if he thought they weren't up to his considerable standards. So when the Washington Wizards took Kwame Brown with the no one overall pick in the 2001 draft straight out of a high school, it was a recipe for disaster. Whether or not Brown folded under Jordan's relentless personality or if he just wasn't that good, we'll never know for sure. What we know for sure is that Jordan wasn't easy to get along with and that Brown washed out of the NBA in just a few short seasons. Brown spoke out recently on his perspectives on the Jordan feud, making it clear that the wounds from this one are still fresh. 2. Shaq and Kobe. In the time since Kobe Bryant's death, and in the years since his retirement, Shaq has done his best to downplay the extent to which the Lakers stars genuinely disliked each other. But at the peak of their rivalry, everyone in the NBA, and those watching at home, knew that whatever they accomplished on the court, off the court they were at each other's throats. Their dispute boiled over into the media, into rap diss tracks, and spawned tell-all books. It's the only feud on this list that has an entire blow-by-blow breakdown on Wikipedia that contains a level of minutia generally reserved for international conflicts. Throwback to Shaq and Kobe reuniting in the All-Star Game in Phoenix. Laker facts September 1, 2021. That they appeared to reconcile in the fullness of time is a credit to them both, each coming to realize how much they benefited from the other's elite caliber of play. And it leaves one with a bit of hope that some of these other feuding players might gain some perspective in the coming years and bury the hatchet as well. 1. Seth Curry and Paul George. Fans of either player are sure to remember the rather infamous moment that they shared back in the 2020 NBA playoffs. It was a surprisingly heated moment from two players who otherwise tend to seem like squeaky clean players. After doing what Curry does best, getting points, Seth pointed directly at Paul George and let a few choice words fly. The outburst may seem random to some, but many believe it's due to the two men having a shared history with a woman, leading the men to not like one another.